This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all it counts to me. Goodbye and good night.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and may I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just coming to the conclusion of a bunch of things in wrestling lately that have just been bothering me. And for a while, I couldn't figure it out. And I saw that Lio Rush was out of his title match. I think it was a 3-way match or something for the IWGP Junior title.
Yeah.
Currently, Hiromu is attempting to set the defense record, and they're filling Leo's spot in or with Yo. I know a lot of people don't like Yo. I consider myself a big Yo fan.
Yeah. You on team shit.
Yeah, the shit team. You know. So I was just like, I just had a breakthrough. I'm like, fuck it. Put it on Yo. I don't care. I'm like, bro, if I gotta watch one more fucking world champion somewhere or some type of big champion that's had the belt for a year, 2 years, setting his fucking records, I'm like, bro, this shit has gone way too far in one direction. Like this shit needs to like start like getting like, we need some hot potato in. We need some shit. This is why. Yes.
I get what you're saying. I think there needs to be a middle road between ultra long title runs and hot potato.
Like, bro, like people are holding titles like it's like, I don't know if they're just emulating Roman Reigns or whatever, and you know they set the trends, so to speak, but MJF's had the belt for fucking ever. Sonata's like not exciting a soul with this thing.
Sonata's had it since the spring.
The secondary fucking champions, Orange Cassidy had it forever.
Yep.
Fucking Walters had the belt forever.
Like 2 years, damn near.
Hiromu, as I mentioned, like there's just like, it's like, hey man, do something else. Like this is why the FTR, and had FTR not been injured, who knows how long they would have had it, and they've had it since like March or some shit. So it was like, yo,
what's the FTR injury? Because I'd never heard about
I believe Cash is hurt. I don't know what it actually is, but we'll get into it more in that section. But I was like, yo, I'm bored. I'm bored with like these never ending, seemingly like these no hope challengers that are getting rolled out just to like for these artificial lengths. It's like, give me something like that I don't expect somewhere that's like good. Like, give me something that's like, yo, I want to see, you know, like the Big Bill and Ricky Starks surprise title win. I came out my seat for this thing. I didn't expect that.
Well, I think that's more about the anti-FTR vibes. You gotta
add that in there.
Big Bill, because it's like
that's on there like a little bit of seasoning. But you know, like Big Bill executed the man with like 4 choke slams, and I was like, yo, there's no fucking way this is continuing. And then he fucking beats him, and I was like, holy shit! Like it was pretty exciting. Okay, and I was like, we've got this Title Tuesday show coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
where the fuck is the world title match? Where the like they're like the belts that we got on the line? We've got the international belt. It's going back and forth. It's flipping up a little bit.
It's him and Moxley, right?
Is Phoenix and Moxley.
Yep.
So they've done like with that one, they've switched that belt up lately, and it feels exciting, but it almost
that belt got switched out of necessity more than actual like planning.
And it almost
whether that matters to you or not.
Right. It almost feels inevitable that it's going back to Moxley. And I'm like, well, you know, Phoenix, like what about what he could do with it?
Right.
And, you know, that feels like that's just going to be another long, and there's nothing wrong with John Moxley or anything, but I'm like, yo, it just feels like it's going to be this another long reign. And I'm just so tired of the long title reigns right now.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, with Roman is one thing because, like, that's, you know.
That's like a whole nother division, but they're acting like they can't beat Seth Rollins now. And I'm like, yo.
Yeah, especially when he had a losing record on pay-per-view last year. So, yeah, I think you're onto something there. That was a big Triple H thing, was long title reigns in NXT. You know, when
these people were winning the belt. Sorry, my fault. Go ahead.
You know, like, I don't mind someone having, you know, 9 months or whatever else. I think the standard should be like around 8 and 9 months, whatever. Once you start going over there, you need to have a good reason for it. It needs to be like, all right, we're building towards some gigantic show, or, you know, if you're AEW or you're WWE, like, we're building towards one of our A pay-per-views or A shows or a big, like, winter is coming type thing, right? Or, you know, beach break, or sorry, is it beach break?
Yeah,
they do have a beach break, but I didn't mean that. I meant what do they call Bash at the Beach for them? Fight for the Fallen or whatever else, or Fighter Fest, right? That kind of thing.
Oh no, Quake at the Lake. That's
Quake at the Lake's another example. Yeah, like when they had the anniversary show, you know, that kind of stuff, right?
Title Tuesday.
I don't think that quite reaches the level as opposed to, hey, you've been preempted. We moving your ass around for the playoffs. But yeah, I'm definitely with you. I think all these title scenes, for the most part, are kind of quiet and have a lot of like non-threats. You know, and like, you know, I watched Stardom pay-per-view this morning, and it was like, oh, it's Tam versus Natsuko, and like, you know how it is, like a good booker when they have a weak challenger, they'll give them everything. And it's like, okay, so in the Grand Prix, and I talked about this before we started recording, like they had Natsuko go out there and pin Mayu, Shuri, and Tam. If that don't scream no hoper to you, I don't know what I don't know what that tells you, right? So they went out there and they did that match, and it was you know, up until the very end where I think Tam may have torn her ACL or blew out her knee or whatever else. I thought the match was actually like it got somewhere pretty interesting once they got to the high spots. So whatever, but yeah, I just I'm with you. Like, I want to see the threats. Like, I want to see the people that, like, you know, I want to see Tam versus Mayu, Tam versus Shuri, a Tam versus Utami match, that sort of thing. I want to see like MJF versus Kenny Omega, which, you know, they teased on BTE, but then it's like it's also funny because, like, you know, the whole BTE thing is so much about like long form stories and character and how it ties into AEW and or whatever promotions these people are in. It is like, okay, so he's there hanging out with the Elite and he's Adam Cole's homeboy. Like, when was the last time we seen Adam Cole on screen with any of the Elite? He whooped the Elite's ass.
Yeah.
Why did they jump him right then in the back? So there's just a lot of stuff going on that I feel like just being like left, you know. If a lot of it feels back to like it's standard wrestling, as opposed to like we're putting a lot of deep thought into these things for over a long period of time, and you know, it feels like a lot of laziness is going on right now around the world. Not just Stardom, not just AEW, not just WWE. But what I will say about AEW is like at least like there is an order and it looks like there's a direction they're headed, as opposed to, you know, after the, you know, around the Punk stuff, we don't know what the fuck is going on. They seem like they know where they're headed. Am I exactly interested in like what's going on with MJF and Adam Cole at the top? No. But I am interested in what else is going around outside of that. You know, so yeah, I get you.
They've got some some depth to, you know, some of the stuff they're doing, but like that comes with like the temperature of AEW just like being, you know, is a wildfire almost at all times, like with, you know, whether it's the tickets or the ratings or there's always another conversation going on with AEW.
Yeah. And I was saying to y'all off air, like, it'd be real funny, like, you know, I missed it. It seems like it's really steady sailing right now. Obviously, there's complaints about the domestic tickets or whatever else, but like, I think that's more of a promotion type of thing or promoting issue locally that's going on with them. But like, you know, if you kind of feel like they've ride the course and it feels like it's just kind of like, you know, we're kind of in that era where like people are off their case and you don't have nothing to rail against. It's like, all right, if that's how you feel, tell Tony Khan to go out there and nosedive that bitch on a Dynamite in like 2 weeks before, like, or 2 weeks, and we have a month to get to pay-per-view. You're going to feel right back. Like that the whole moment where you have one of them stinker AEWs that happen like once every 2-3 months. And you just like, oh my God, this could be the end of the promotion. How will they answer and respond? If you want to restore that feeling, let him go out there and nosedive that plane and let for 2 hours, let him see how it happens. People will be like, oh, we back, baby. You're like, this is the end. What are they going to do next week? Put John Moxley out there and have a 4 1/4 star match like he does every other week? That's what.
Oh, man. So, yeah, those were just my kind of opening thoughts on things. We got some stuff to talk about this week. Some, I guess we should talk about Big CM. We haven't talked about him in a few weeks since he was basically giving his shit, handed his box, said, you ain't got to leave, you ain't got to go home, you got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Take that shit back to Chicago. What else we got? Go ahead and stick to Stars with the show Heels. I believe that show was canceled as well. He lost the other job as well. But there was a report this week in the Observer basically saying, you know, he's a free agent. They got Survivor Series in Chicago coming up. There's tons of talk of him returning to WWE. I believe Booker T commented on this whole thing and said, whoever put this story out wanted this story out.
That's how all stories work, Booker. You should know this as a journalist.
Yeah. You know, wanted this out for a specific reason. He said, you know, there have been rumors that it's happening, but those in WWE have only said that no deal's completed, and those close to Punk have told us that it is his intention to return. And the two sides are in talks. I believe Shinsuke Nakamura did a GTS tonight on a Raw, so I mean, this can kind of tell you where it's going. There are some similarities here to this White Rabbit Bray Wyatt thing they were doing last year, leaving like these like little trails and all that of you know, different things. But CM Punk going back to WWE, I mean, James, this doesn't shock me at all.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it, WWE is where he always wanted to be. I wouldn't go that far.
I
remember backstage, the only person that was like holding this up, Fox wanted him in. The only person that kiboshed that shit was Vince McMahon.
How long ago was this?
This was like 2019 before the pandemic.
Okay.
And then basically like backstage got done in with the pandemic essentially.
Okay.
But he always wanted to go back there, I think. And if they wanted him back then, they could have had him. And there would have been no comeback to AEW or anything. Now, him going there presents lots of issues with...
that happens wherever he goes.
Yeah, that's true.
He remains in controversy.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out how this all will go down. How will this be wrapped and presented? Because, I mean, this guy is a super, like, I think a lot of people are married to pointing at CM Punk and calling him some kind of hypocrite or anything like that. I gotta let y'all know.
He don't care.
CM Punk does not give a fuck about like hypocrisy, lining up, sending out his promos where he's talked about on this day I left professional wrestling. Like he doesn't care. He's going to do what it takes to be, in front of whatever audience, the right thing to say at the time to get himself over. Right. That's what he does. That's what
most wrestlers do.
Like this is someone without shame. This man will walk in there. Yeah, this man will walk in there.
It's almost like we're shaming this man for being a wrestler and not like bigger than wrestling, right? Like people bought the hype of that this dude was, here to be the face of change and all that stuff, and the voice of the voices and all that kind of stuff. Is like, I mean, look, it's a gimmick. He found it and it made it work for him, and I'm sure he believes in some of that stuff. He don't believe in all of it.
Nah, Zach Maki. There was one point where he said, I still think he got cold moved to ROH. So there was at one point where I thought, nah, he didn't have nothing to do with it. I thought this was possibly a Tony Khan thing to try to put out a fire that turned actually into a fucking four-alarm, whatever the fuck. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. A 4-alarm fire or whatever. But, now, knowing how CM Punk is operated, in the return, banning motherfuckers from the building and stuff like that, this don't shock me.
Well, my thing is the way he's behaved about it is like, I've always felt that the most reasonable thing is that like Khan was trying to avoid that thing. Nothing need to even be said. It just happened. And like people were like, oh, well, you did it. And like Punk's like, no, I had nothing to do with it. And like Khan's like, he had nothing to do with it. And Khan's mind's like, I had nothing to do with it. But the subtext is, I did it too. He had nothing to do with it because I did it preemptively.
Right.
And now, so I don't know if it means a matter of distinction or not, but either way, like the people backstage don't like Punk because of it. And also they don't believe Khan, obviously. Which is why this shit happened the way it happened. But if this wasn't the case, it would have been something else anyway, right? So
correct. Whatever. Yeah, as we saw.
Yeah. When does Jungle Boy like come off suspension?
That's a great question.
Are they still in an investigation?
He's been no. They wrapped up the investigation.
Okay. Did they ever finish the investigation and brawl out? I was unaware. I was never known that like be known publicly that like they're done with that investigation the way that they were told that like there was an investigation.
So I remember the timeline being like they started dismissing people one by one, like basically when they were cleared from it. So like we would see like Brandon Cutler's back, Christopher Daniels is here, a couple other people, and then eventually.
Did you say Christopher Daniels, the head of talent relations that was not allowed to be in the building for one of the collisions?
Yes,
okay,
I did.
Okay.
But I'm looking at, him possibly going to WWE. I'm going to laugh for, just petty reasons or whatever. Yeah. Like, huh? So, yeah, I'm going to laugh at those promos. Like, obviously the headline, the buy one, get one free stuff. It's all there. Yeah. Like, it's all there. Like, it's just like Cody.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, man, this is going to look bad when you play it all back.
Look, obviously, in the history of WWE, when there's two companies, Vince is really into buying because he's a mark. Like he's really into buying the people that talk the most shit, and that's the reason why, like, Cody knows that. Cody knew that. CM Punk knows that, right? So, I think the thing that's real funny is like all the stuff that happened with Cody. We laughed at it because it's like you talked all that cash, and now the bill
people was clipping him up this week.
Yeah, and now because you say all this stuff, we gotta clip you up, and this is what you said then, this is what it is now. Don't you feel foolish? And man, like the Punk take his ass to Saudi Arabia. Ooh,
that's gonna be a legendary day on Twitter.
That's gonna be a big one. When that man in the main event night, the Saturday of WrestleMania this year, WrestleMania 40 versus Seth, some shit like that. Or faces Cody, and the winner gets to go tonight too. We're gonna laugh at him. Yeah.
He got to take it too. Like we can't just like dismiss it all as, oh, this is a wrestler working. No, you can be cut just like the Russians. You can be cut.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because this ain't stuff you had to say. No one. These are the ideas you came up with. Right. You did that.
Oh,
you was out there. You was out there on the, in the notes app thinking, oh, this will had the crowd going crazy. All right, we did go crazy, and we finna go just as crazy when your ass gotta walk it back.
So my mind got to wondering, who would be the funniest people that when you walk up to them and you say, hey, you're putting Phil over tonight, 1, 2, 3 in the middle.
Yeah.
And I had an idea.
Yeah.
And thank God I did, because,
it's a light show.
Light show. It's a light show.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the WWE roster. I feel like, we're going to hold a little mini draft right here.
Right.
We're going to draft 10 wrestlers between James and I. And we're going to, discuss on how funny it would be, that person's reaction, what it would actually do to that person.
The fan and the online discourse and fallout from it too.
Yes. So James, I'm gonna put the ball in your court first. You can have the number 1 overall pick. The frozen envelope is yours.
Oh man.
Man, we got lots of people. Like, dude, hold on. Do you have a WWE roster pulled up?
I do not, but I don't think I need it, because I already know there's 3 that immediately come to mind. There's 3 that immediately come to mind, and 2 of them are like everyone probably had the same idea. I haven't looked at the chat. I don't have the chat up, but I'm certain people are throwing out the same 2 people. But yeah, I think with the first pick, I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes. Cody basically lost his spot as the master of ceremonies for AEW, as Punk came in and took that role. He then struggled to figure out what the fuck he was going to do when he couldn't be that person. And then he took his ass on.
He started lighting himself on fire.
Yeah,
literally set flame to his skin.
That happened. That did happen. And we were like,
man walked out there with that gel on his back.
Yeah. So he leaves, and as he leaves out, he says to us while he's doing the promo about Sammy Guevara and a ladder match. He then decides to say, you know what, I've had this promo saved, and I'm going to go ahead and use it. He cuts promos on CM Punk. He cuts promos on behalf of the Young Bucks for Red Dragon. He's just going out like, I don't know how to handle this. What
that man was doing? That man was going out like Cleo at the end of Set It Off. Just he was just surrounded one by one, and then
like he was just freaking with grief and was like, "This can't be the end," but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna say stuff. So anyway, It's up at WWE. The throne breaker, all that shit. He has to bend the knee. He has to go out there and lie again after saying that Sting was his favorite wrestler of all time. Has to come back and say the dude who broke the throne, he's actually Triple H, my favorite wrestler of all time. Has to go back on that. Has to go out there and cap. And then he goes out there and talks about finishing the story, and then that's been the biggest meme of the year. Like, that's gonna end up being like the IWC Award nominee, a heavy contender to win. Finishing the story.
Or failure of the year.
So he is up, he gets back to another shot at it this year. And at the last second, the writer strike happens, and then, The Rock shows his ass up in Denver, and I know he had to be fucking shaken and stirred and all that, right? He's like, oh no, please, Mr. Dwayne Johnson, please don't take my main event from me. Please don't make me have to go get it another year from now or 2 years from now. They like to do the double up, right? So he seems to have avoided that crisis. And then the person that he left that took his spot is coming back in again. And that man was, a bigger deal in AEW than he was in. you know, if you still look at it from that perspective, it's like, yeah, man, you can see a world where he takes that from him, right? And to do it is like, because, you know, Punk comes out at 30 that Rumble. They both do the Luger and Bret Hart over the floor, sets up the penultimate pay-per-view for WrestleMania.
So look, you just implied that CM Punk steal more from Bret Hart.
Yeah. Look, he doing it the place to do it.
Hey, he's also doing it with a red, white, and blue motherfucker right there.
Yeah. Hey, remember when Cody had Alexa was talking about that? When he left, he needed money to pay off that bus that Meltzer was talking about. The Lex Express. Yeah, it all comes full circle.
Oh my God! And it's 2024, so that was like 30-year anniversary.
30 anniversary. Yeah, brother. Yeah,
disgusting.
Yeah, to get to WrestleMania 40. Yeah,
Floyd, turn it off. Turn the show off.
So they do the match or whatever else, and whether it's the penultimate match or it's night one, whatever you want to do, penultimate pay-per-view for WrestleMania or night one of WrestleMania, whatever you want to do. Had a match. Cody go out there and have to go to sleep. Oh man.
The clowning will be endless.
Look, you gotta take it down. You got another year, another meme of him not finishing the story, and then we get another year, another board of all these wrestlers finishing the story. See Susan Suzuki finish her story, right? You get to see all of that.
Amazing.
It would be amazing. It really would. So, that's my number one pick. But I'm pretty sure what your number two is. It's kind of like the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Is like, do you want to go with Austin and Brett, or do you want to go with Shawn and Undertaker? It's like, if one picks one, I know who the other one's picking. So go ahead with your number two.
With the number two pick, I select Seth freaking Rollins. Oh my God. If Seth Rollins had to go out there with that fake world title on day one of WrestleMania and put his shoulders on the mat for CM Punk.
Dress like an asshole to do it too. Don't discount that part. He gonna be dressed ridiculous to do it too.
That's fucking insane.
That man gonna be dressed like a Smurf and then be told backstage 5 minutes before he's gotta go out there and his big blue ass gotta go lay down for Big CM. Don't forget that part.
After all these years,
Boo Boo face looking crazy,
carrying the flag for WWE.
A year removed from saying he don't want CM Punk back in wrestling,
calling him a cancer, basically saying, nah, keep that shit over there, essentially. Seth Rollins, a man who every time the world title goes around his waist, business goes in the trash, almost. Basically, people just never really quite feel his title runs. If he has to end that shit, handing it to CM Punk, flying that flag, he has to lose again to another one of them? Another one of them from AEW? After all those jobs I did to Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins might walk in the office, wherever the fuck, the booking room is, and he might just destroy the room like Ice Cube and the record label. He might take a baseball bat and start knocking shit off the walls. And it would be the funniest thing I've ever seen, and I would laugh at Seth Rollins until the end of time. I have not forgiven Seth Rollins for the Money in the Bank, for the Hell in a Cell match against Bray Wyatt. I think that is the worst match in professional wrestling history. If he comes out here and loses to CM Punk, I will need to be restrained. This would just be amazing, just on so many different levels. Yes, you finally get your WrestleMania main event, Seth Rollins, where you were advertised, and then you got to hand that shit to this other dude, and both of y'all second to Roman Reigns. Just chef's kiss, just like amazing. And doesn't that sound just like the most mid match possible? Just the most 3 1/4 match possible. Oh my God. All of it. Add it up.
All right. So I found it. So, September 21st, I sent a message of a tweet that said, from Russell Ops, according to Fightful, there's some frustration among members on the roster we spoke to that WWE announced a $1.4 billion SmackDown deal and then cut talent. One top star said that the most of this list barely had a chance considering they weren't booked and called it a circle that they couldn't escape, right? So, so Greg's response was CM Punk must be asked for a lot of money. My response, Becky gonna have 2 crying babies at that house the day Big CM comes to WWE.
That's great.
Man, look, man, it's when this, if that happens, CM, they tell Seth backstage, right, that he has to put over CM Punk. Within the next 48 hours of that conversation being had, will there or will there not be a time where Seth rests his head in Becky's lap and Becky has to console that man?
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Oh man. All right, we can move on. All right, so number 3, I'm sorry, Tanya. Don't hate me, but it's gonna have to happen. The number 3 pick in this is gonna have to be Roman Reigns. Just off the absurdity that the big dog puts over Roman Reigns, puts over Seth or CM Punk. Like, bro,
you know how mad people would be.
You know how mad Roman would be. He hates that man with reason. That's why it's bad.
Amazing.
Look, man. We talked about this last year going into WrestleMania, and the thought was like they're trying to get The Rock to come in so that The Rock puts over Roman. The idea that they change, and then all of a sudden, like a month later, Roman gets back word that like, okay, the thing with Rock is off, so we're gonna have you work with Cody, and then we're gonna have Cody beat you. And my thought was like, Roman has to be like, wait, what? I'm gonna beat The Rock, but I'm not losing him? You out of your mind? So the idea that this year we was going, we was gonna have you actually put over Cody, fire off the confetti and all that kind of stuff. Great moment, all that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. Actually change the plans. We're gonna have Punk come through and he gonna hit you with the GTS and you go ahead and lay your damn shoulders on the man for 3 seconds and then you roll out like like Optimus Prime told the fucking Autobots. Like, bro, he ain't going for that. Look, I don't know what Roman's political acumen is at this point. It used to be absolute doo-doo. Right after what happened at WrestleMania 31, but at this point, he got to put his fucking foot down and be like, "Nah, I ain't going to the ring. If this is what you want to set up, I ain't going to the ring. You better figure something else out. This ain't work for me." You're like, hey, Vince, can you do something for me? Can you do a little rich flex for me? This shit runner telling me is boo boo. Absolutely not.
I got one. Number 4. Brock Lesnar. If Brock Lesnar has to come off, I'm not saying that Brock wouldn't do it, right? Because Brock come off the farm for a check.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he don't care.
But they were like, "Nah, man, you gonna lose to CM Punk," and then Brock Lesnar would be like, "Why the fuck would I do that?"
Yeah. Like, what's in it? Like, are we doing another match? Are we doing a series? What's the point?
Right. They're like, "No, it's just one and done, Brock. That's it." I got a feeling Brock would be like, "I am not showing up to the building."
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Who would be a good 5th overall pick?
There's a couple names out there.
I mean, just the idea, I'll say it. They've had Gunther be the champion for like over a year and change. and they put that shit on CM Punk. The person absolutely don't fucking need it. Don't help put nobody else over when he does it. It'd be so dumb. I can't think of nobody for a fifth pick. You got anybody else?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead. Take my pick. Go ahead and do it in front of me.
Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens.
That would be great.
A man who had CM Punk's dream match, who is friends with the Young Bucks, Christopher Daniels, and pretty much everyone else.
A man that after he gets the match, after the shit that went bad with at Brawl Out, decided to post a picture of him main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin to be like, see, I main evented WrestleMania. No, you didn't, but whatever. That's nice. That's nice. Or whatever else to say, like, haha, me and, I'm showing solidarity with my friends by posting a picture of me not main eventing WrestleMania, but whatever. Like, I know that gets his goat. Okay, whatever, man. Yeah, that would be funny. That would be funny. I'd actually like to see that match. But whatever. Just because the promos alone, I think it'd be great. Oh, I got one. Since you took my pick with the 6th pick of this CM Punk put over draft, I'll go with the Miz.
Oh my god!
Like, just the idea. I don't think Miz has a problem putting over anybody. I don't. I think the thing is, like, I don't want to work with this fucking guy. And, like, y'all are making me... I've been here. I've done everything you've asked me to do. I've outkicked my coverage in every sense of the word in my tenure in WWE. And what must I do? Go out there and work with this asshole that's been nothing but mean to me. Why? For no reason. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing for him to dislike me.
Just jealous of me.
Everybody backstage likes me except for this one asshole because he's the asshole. But you're making me suffer the indignity of working with this guy. One more time, I got to take one on the chin for this company. After all I've done for them. That's... Good guys finish last.
Number 7. AJ Styles. Not a fan of CM Punk in the least.
I did not know this.
AJ Styles.
Is it because of political differences?
I think there's something to that there. But like they can we get
t-shirt CM Punk being AJ Styles in a trans rights matter shirt?
Oh my god. AJ would be furious. Yeah, there's some quotes. Let me see if I can find it. Give me one moment.
Which is hilarious considering, like, we also have huge, like, political differences. AJ Styles and Bryan Danielson. They went out there and just had matches.
Yeah. And I think I've got another one. Okay, he said he doesn't respect CM Punk as a human or a wrestler. And he said he's not a fan. And he doesn't respect him. Yeah. So...
Well, respect this job you finna do. Because if they do AJ Styles or CM Punk's going over at this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't even no discussion.
Man, there's a... So that was number 7. Number 8. Did you have number 8, James?
Oh, no. I think I'm done. I think I'm tapped out.
I have a number 8 for you.
Go ahead.
And his name is John Cena.
Okay, all right. I kind of thought he was off the board, but okay. He is back right now.
You know, John Cena would be like, yo, I got to use a few of these Hollywood days. Yeah, I'll put over Austin Theory. I don't care. What, him? CM Punk?
Oh, man.
No, I refuse.
I saw someone on Twitter tweet that, like, John Cena must really hate Austin Theory because of the effort that John Cena put into the tag match. The effort... A crossbody. If a crossbody is trying in 2023 pro wrestling, then what the fuck are we doing? Right? Like, I just saw someone in the main event before they may have possibly torn their ACL get basically spiked on an avalanche Death Valley driver in the main event. Like, Nah, man. Y'all level of trial is totally different between whatever other people are watching. I'm sorry. Nah, man. I get it. He's 250 and he does a crossbody. And he, he's a Hollywood actor now or whatever else. I get it, but nah, man. We see Cesaro do that shit almost every week. Nah, man.
Yep.
That is not trying. We see big ass Drew McIntyre do flip dives every chance we see him to the floor. That ain't trying these days. Sorry. I don't give a damn how old he is.
Man.
Terry Funk was out here at Smoky Mountain doing moonsaults.
Yes. We got another one. Number 9, Carl Anderson.
Oh, okay. Is that because he's a Young Bucks homeboy?
Yes.
Okay.
I fucking working with him.
Yeah, I work with him. Okay. All right. I think we're tapped out.
I think there's one more. There should be one more somewhere.
One more. Hornswoggle?
Yeah. No, not Hornswoggle. I got one more for you. This is contingent on him getting cleared. The Viper, Randy Orton.
I heard at times they've mostly liked working with each other. So I don't know. So I don't know how that would go. I don't think he actually had smoke.
Want a funnier one then? Contingent on getting cleared.
Go ahead.
Time to play the game.
Oh, I mean, if it's Triple H, that goes way higher. That like Triple H, if he could get cleared, that would have been a top 3, easy.
Vince will be like, yeah, it is time to play the game. Do the fucking job for this business.
Yeah. Trish be like, well, I don't feel like taking them tests. I'm good. Well, maybe next year.
Ain't got to. You part-time, baby.
No, I meant like test to be clear for his heart. I didn't mean PED test. He don't care about that.
Yeah, at all. Yeah, man, but
Triple H is a good one. That'd be funny. Yeah, you can come back after being done wrestling for however long your heart episode, but you got to come back and put up with CM Punk.
Nah, you know what? It might be funnier if Punk had to put Triple H over.
That would be funnier. That would absolutely be funny, especially after the way Emil was talking that cash on that podcast. Like, I'm doing you the favor. I'm having me beat you.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think that entire list, if you flip the entire list, all of them are funny for CM Punk losing to all of those guys too.
Yeah. CM Punk losing for Kevin Owens is funny. Yeah.
Especially with their personal history and everything else too. Yeah. So tomorrow night is going to be AEW and NXT head to head. We'll talk about it more. We might as well talk about it now. There are both shows are going commercial free for the first half hour. I believe AEW has a 10-minute overrun. NXT will probably have an 8-minute overrun. So they juicing everything up. Like Barry Bonds, and basically saying they might bring the Undertaker out in NXT. John Cena's going to be working in a managerial role.
Cody.
Paul Heyman will be there. Cody will be there. And then, in AEW, they got the Title Tuesday thing. They've got Swerve and Danielson. They've got Hangman and Jay White on a whim. Saraya defending the women's title against Carl Sheeta. Moxley and Phoenix. Jericho and Hobbs. One more match. I can't remember what it is right now, but
a lot of matches for a 2-hour show.
Yeah, they got 6 matches announced. But yeah, seeing as how WWE put 5 matches in a 3-hour show. Amazing. Yeah, so like I feel like WWE wants to win this really badly.
Do you have any idea why?
I think they're pissed about last year.
What happened last year?
Like they lost to him last year when they moved over, and it was almost on some never again shit.
How much? How much did they lose by? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I think it was decisive. Like it wasn't like,
okay,
like anything. but it's almost on some never again shit.
You know, when they were head to head before, they always lost then too.
This is true. This is the most loaded NXT show possibly ever.
As far as putting stars on the show, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing, and as far as their matches, they're doing like Braun Breaker.
It's not like they're putting John Cena versus the Undertaker on the card. That would be,
that would be funny.
That'd be funny. Can Cena get his win back? His unadvertised win back?
Yeah, like they've got like Mello and Braun fighting each other. There's like two guys they built around NXT. They got some other matches. I don't really, I don't follow NXT or anything like that, but they've got like, a lot of matches announced that are in that world, like, some people are looking forward to.
Is Dragon not doing anything?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But they want to win really badly. And the way they're stacking this thing up, I feel like if they don't win, this is embarrassing. I think like if they come out here and do all this shit and then they lose and it's like ultimate egg on the face with the the commercial free juicing and pulling the John Cena lever, and I think it's like the way NXT had been going with like maybe one or two people from the main roster showing up, like they were already surging for like, what they were doing. They might have been able to, win almost, as themselves rather than somebody else.
Not a chance.
You don't think so?
No.
Why is that?
Because their demo's not great still.
This is true.
So, that's really what it comes down to. Like, if we're talking about, overall ratings, like maybe they will beat them in overall ratings, but they won't beat them in the demo. They never beat them in the demo. Ever.
Yeah, I would be shocked if
they did. They did once, twice, ever? Once. Yeah.
They actually won the ratings this week, the overall ratings this past week. I find AEW's strategy very interesting going up against NXT, because it's almost like someone got it through their head that, hey, head-to-head with WWE, we need to roll out a bunch of great fucking matches.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. It's just as interesting what they put up against it is what they did not put up against it.
Right. They didn't put MJF versus Kenny Omega or John Moxley up against, John Cena and Undertaker. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
They didn't do Jericho versus Danielson,
We've got, Jay. For me, there's two real matches carrying this thing. It's Jay White and Hangman and Swerve and Danielson.
Yeah. And
I think those are really big matches. Like, if you're a hardcore fan, if you're someone that likes the in-ring action, I don't think I don't like that's. Those are two great matches to pick from. And I think it's almost like it's a check on the fan base. Like, it's like, hey man, like, do y'all like this is, if this is what he goes to in his time of need, almost, it's like, are people still going to react to this? So like, I would almost encourage people to, hey, make sure y'all watch this shit, or next time he might try some bullshit like against them. We'll be watching fucking vignettes going against this shit.
Oh god.
But yeah, no MJF in a match. No elite as far as like anything I can see.
Based off the last few matches you've seen from MJF, you want to see MJF match?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, same. So,
but I think it's gonna be interesting tomorrow. Like, I think this is a lot more, like, in our bubble at least, people don't care about this as much,
right? Because there's already been a winner and losers declared on all this. Yeah, so
this is like, I don't know. I think people want this. They want to will this.
Will we get Fast Nationals?
We will not. No, I don't think so. Only if maybe if NXT like wins or whatever, we'll know about it very fast.
Yeah,
or whatever. All right. However, if not, expect silence until about 4 p.m. Wednesday, and I don't know, man. I find this one to be so kind of low stakes, and I think there are a lot of AEW doom and gloomers that have, they've been counting on this being like, everything's going wrong with AEW, and a lot of people that are big CM Punk fans that are saying, they're wishing for the downfall and everything. There were a lot of people that, had this date circled for months or whatever. And I'm like,
quite
real convenient.
I haven't heard any same people talk about like the pay-per-view buy rates of the last 5, those 3 pay-per-views that they did in a 5-week succession. Like, it was a phenomenal success.
Correct.
2 of them, one of them absolutely did not have, or 2 of them did not have CM Punk in it, and one of them was a show in Chicago. So,
I had to put somebody on the Summer Jam screen on the timeline this week, and it was not good for them. But yeah, they already stomped out. NXT had already stomped out Collision. Like, these people were not bringing up Collision getting stomped out by NXT for forever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think this is going to be a good show for AEW. I'm not gonna watch NXT just because that's not like something I do. But right.
I'll see clips or whatever thing they do if it's interesting.
Yeah. But I'm not getting fooled by any of that. But it's gonna be
we also don't want to help him get a rating. It's not that works, but still, just to be petty.
Yeah. They're like, nah, hell no, we're gonna keep the numbers down, suppress the numbers.
Wow.
Stop the count.
Yeah, so when they do the next round of cuts, you can blame Rich Latta for not being vigilant. For a wrestling fan, you want to watch a loaded up show with a bunch of stars on it? No. Fucking we ball.
No. Go to hell.
Terrible.
But, yeah, man. So, I mean, I don't really care who wins. I think AEW is still going to win.
I think they'll win.
Yeah.
I think AEW will win.
But, look, WWE, y'all better not lose. Well, y'all better not lose.
Because it turns into more of like the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, where it's like, bro, you keep falling off the cliff. Stop falling off this fucking cliff. Ain't you embarrassed how many times you fell off this cliff?
Bro.
You lucky it's a cartoon. Your ass would have been dead 1,000 times ago.
So Saturday night, Collision, we mentioned FTR losing tag team championships kind of in a prototype squash, kind of pioneered by Jamie Hayter when she dropped the belt to Toni Storm, like when there was like some type of injury, do the match anyway. They got rid of Cash kind of on the outside early in the match, and Dax got straight up executed by Big Bill. It was like 4 choke slams, maybe 5. They set him up for a spear. Ricky Starks pins him. I lose my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I just didn't expect this. And then I was already enjoying the ass whooping that was going on for Big Bill, whooping on Dax like that. There was a big boo-boo face promo. Some people have pointed out by FTR ahead of time with this thing. I don't know when this injury occurred. Maybe it was during the Aussie Open match. Immediately, people sprung into action. But my mind didn't even go there because I was like, I'm not going to, do this yet. But I figure, we're on the show now. We can explore this. Mm-hmm. People like, did FTR not want to do the job for the Young Bucks? And I was like, man, if this was the case, this would be like the first time ever that they've like skated out ahead in a way to like where they kind of got something over on somebody politically, because all they've done is make miscalculations.
I don't know. That was a situation like you got to worry about like how they get booked in the future. So I don't think they did that. And also, it's
I don't think that happened either.
Yeah, I don't think that happened.
But I did have the
like,
full
you can't
gear
job
circle.
For the Young Bucks, and like I'm sorry, like the situation I remember you talking about with CM Punk and Hangman Page, as far as like them in the future after the brawl. I was like, if you can't job for Adam Page, and like we need to talk. And it's like, hey, if you're a tag team, you can't job for the Young Bucks in AEW. There's the door. I'm sorry. What the fuck are you doing?
got to go.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
But I don't think that's actually what happened here. You know, and
Same.
If anyone wants to believe in a conspiracy, you know, I may have done that once or twice here, but I don't. This one doesn't pass a smell test for me. But they've got Bill now and Ricky Starks with these things. That was kind of an odd choice. No one really saw this coming. Like, if anybody did, good luck. Like, no one was predicting this. Obviously, Aussie Open, you know, lost the match. I mean, I would have thought about maybe switching them belts there, but apparently Mark Davis got injured. Kyle Fletcher has already been in singles action, also tag and singles action without him. So he's already, you know, getting used. But, you know, I did have Full Gear circled for the Bucks, and may wonder if, you know, or Bill and Ricky Starks going to hold these things and drop them to the Bucks there. Who knows? I
think it could be like a short title reign thing where they get it back to FTR and then do the match. Because, like, there's no way they're thinking, like, yeah, we want FTR. Or, sorry, we want Starks and Big Bill as the Young Bucks. Like, Full Gear match. No way. Doesn't even sound right.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see, like, you know, which way that goes. But the FTR title reign, man, let's do it. Brother. Okay. They won these belts from the Guns. Matter of fact, let me pull my
okay.
Let me make sure I got all my information.
I don't
make sure I got my information here, because, man, James, I was ensured that we were about to get the greatest tag team run of all time.
I feel like we only got a really good run at the beginning of Collision.
I got, you know, I was told that this was going to redefine tag team wrestling. You know, this was going to be it. So here we are. We got 10 matches from FTR in this thing. We got one of them winning the belts, one of them losing the belts. So I guess we should maybe throw both of those out. I mean, you know, I don't know if putting them on helps them, because I don't think they particularly won them in impressive fashion. They didn't lose them in impressive fashion. So do with those what you want.
Yeah.
They've got matches against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett.
Remember that match being, like, good for a Jeff Jarrett match, but it was like, I don't want to see a Jeff Jarrett match. Yeah.
They got the FTR and the Bullet Club Gold match. That was a great match, but it also took 3 months. Like, they had those belts for 3 months by the time that already happened.
Yeah.
Adam Cole and MJF match, where MJF and Cole probably should.
That match was really good. That match was great.
Yeah.
So they cooking now at this point. Those two. Yeah.
Big Bill and Brian Cage. They had a good match there. I remember people talking about that.
Okay.
Young Bucks at All In.
Great match.
Not the match though that we expected.
Yeah, that's true.
Then they're taking on the Iron Savages.
The who?
Anthony Henry and JD Drake.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, those are two different teams. That was Boulder and Bronson. Iron Savages.
Oh, okay. Isn't the other Boulder hurt right now? That's why he's in another tag?
Nah, they're together. They're back.
Okay, all right, never mind.
Both of those matches go under 5 minutes. Then we got that Aussie Open match that wasn't, you know, hidden. Kind of.
Yeah.
Then we got them dropping these belts.
Yep.
I don't know about you, man. I got 1, 2.
It sounds like you about to do a Nas, or you do a Jay-Z on Takeover talking about Nas discography. That's what sounds you're about to do.
You know, I got about 4 out of 10, which is fitting, you know, for these Bret Hart boys. 4 out of 10, you know, that we want to hold up.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, man.
I will say this. The beginning, they absolutely carried CM Punk like the first month of Collision. And, like, not just the tag match that he had with that was a tag defense, also like those trio matches. So like there is more to this than just the defenses. So like I'll give them more credit than just them as a tag team defending those titles. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't think this is on the level.
Yeah.
Of the 2021 Young Bucks 9-month reign that ended, crowned the Lucha Bros in that cage. This is not the same.
This wasn't a 2020 Hangman and Omega. No.
This is not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jade YO. What has FTR really done? What has he ever really done? Shout out to Brett. This is not, look, we saw Swerve in Our Glory in the Acclaim last year. I was enjoying the Swerve in Our Glory stuff, and then, they cut that short, and Acclaim, they cut them off too. And it was a whole bunch of cutting off short, like Mother Joe. Like going on to get FTR these belts for this run.
This wasn't exactly like one of the tag team champions from Stardom from like 2021 and 2000 to last year, right? Like this wasn't exactly like Shuri and Julia. This wasn't exactly FWC. This wasn't exactly Black Desire. This wasn't exactly Meltier either. Yeah, I'm with you. It wasn't exactly 7-Up.
Of annoyance from last year with the FTR Anon and like Dax on Twitter, and just the level of being annoying that they did. And if you look 12 months ago where these guys were, and you look at them now where people are just like, thank God we got them off these guys. Like the stuff where we're faking like we're leaving the company, and all the just bad Matt Coon, like just platforming these idiots, like just like God damn, like like you just look at them and like standing that close to CM Punk while he's like it's working for Punk at all costs, like while he's just burning everything down around him. Wow,
you remember Cash, like the very first show he was back on after Punk got fired? That man threw up the.
Yeah, looking like suckers.
Yeah,
wow.
Forever, huh? All right.
Breaking news: pre-show on YouTube tomorrow. Eddie Kingston versus Minoru Suzuki. Actually on Dynamite, I believe.
We're back to this shit.
Let's go.
Oh my God, it's gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be like the Suzuki and Danielson match.
I'm trying to confirm.
Oh my fucking God! These fucking children. Billionaire children.
Oh, it's on YouTube. Yep, 7:30. This is great.
Where's the show? Where's the show tomorrow in Dynamite?
Independence, Missouri.
They did it in Miami last time.
TK, you fucking sicko!
What? Is
Will
that
Washington?
is that
Damn you, Will Washington! This is your doing.
Is this by like St. Louis?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Pre-show on YouTube. Let's go.
Yeah, I bet Independence, Missouri is on the other side of the Mississippi River.
It's the buy-in. Okay, awesome.
The buy-in.
I love it.
Unbelievable.
What a sicko. Let's get it popping.
Terrible.
Bro, it's funny because like WWE has matches like that they can use. Like they can book
like a million matches like that.
They can book like Dunn versus Dragunov or some shit, right? But they never do it.
Right. Like that used to be NXT. And then they said, "No, we gotta change stuff because Vince doesn't like it." Fuck you. Independence, Missouri is actually like is in Kansas City.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, man. Amazing.
Is Floyd or Caleb going to this?
I think Caleb had mentioned he might make the voyage.
Okay.
I think it's a 3-hour for him.
Floyd might be like, "Look, man, I spent too much damn money and time on fucking AEW. I need a break." Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe, yeah.
Either way, you gotta do that fucking show this week to cover it anyway.
But so this is my non-review of WWE Fastlane 2023.
Your non-review review.
Correct.
Okay.
completely unremarkable show in pretty much every aspect. You watch this thing live, it is such a frustrating experience. Not only was the crowd dead as hell. Like they were up for the opener, which was Cody Rhodes in main event against Judgment Day. Crowd popped, lost their mind for the title change, and they were up pretty much for that match. I got in about halfway through that match, right? After that, this crowd couldn't give a fuck who was in there. And this reminded me of why WWE kept doing all these international shows in the first half of the year, and those crowds are going crazy because, like, and then we get back to America, and it's like they just literally look at them. Like it sounded like a church in a lot of these matches. I believe Carlito was late for his match. He re-debuts. They have Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar fighting against the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, who are now heels. And the match ends with Carlito running in. The crowd doesn't react to anything but Carlito's entrance to that terrible music that he has now, and the pin. And Carlito then pins Montez Ford. I don't know who needs to hear this, but the Montez Ford push is never coming.
Or is coming in 5 years. There's no in between. There's no it's going to happen at next WrestleMania.
Correct.
Or next Royal Rumble. It's either it's never happening or it's happening in 5 years.
Just absolutely unremarkable. These matches are anywhere between 2 and 3 stars all night, wherever you want to go. They got Io and Asuka and Charlotte, completely sloppy match, lots of missed moves. And the person that did the worst moonsault in the match was not Charlotte. It was weird. And it was just just completely sloppy. And it was just not there. Bailey's running out. They're doing a bunch of bullshit. John Cena and LA Knight against the Bloodline. Jesus. It was ironically kind of like that NXT one where Charlotte was there. I believe Charlotte caught the moonsault while she had
figure eight.
Asuka in the figure eight.
Okay.
Io does a moonsault, then pins Asuka, I think. I don't think Charlotte got pinned. I would have to double check that. I don't remember.
Okay.
John Cena and LA Knight against Bloodline. Look, this is like one of them MJF matches. It's a house show match right here. John Cena's the one basically getting his ass whooped the whole match because I don't know, maybe they don't trust LA Knight to work like that. So LA Knight cleans this whole thing up with his hot tags. They embrace each other and kind of, I don't know if they're pointing LA Knight towards Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia. We'll see. But guy's over. They react to him. So, and then the main event. Notice only 5 matches. And when I mentioned this being a horrible viewing experience, I'm watching this thing live. Tons and tons of commercials. They cut out the video package because I'm on the $5 tier, so I don't see the video packages. I just see more commercials, right?
Oof. That's rough.
And then you get you get the commercials that everyone gets in between the matches, and then they'll come back and say, hey, if you are our premium subscribers, take a look at how we got here. And then boom, they'll throw it like they're hitting the video package. But I'm getting more commercials. So so there I go. And then lots of, just time between matches. This main event, Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura, complete snooze fest. 2 times I reacted during this whole match, which matched the times that the building reacted to this match. Shinsuke Nakamura came out dressed in all white sheets like he was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Seth Rollins came out here wearing bullshit like normal. And then I'm just seeing this, and it's just I'm just waiting for something to happen. And I'm like, yo, this is a last man standing match. Haven't y'all tried this with Shinsuke Nakamura before? And then I just
his match with AJ Styles was actually the one good one.
I'm like, but I'm just like, do they just do this with him now? Is this just like, oh yeah, we don't trust you to do nothing else? This is fucking last man standing. Look, anyone can have a great last man standing match.
Right.
Apparently not.
Right. Like the basement is like the over under for last man standing match 3.5 stars.
Which is
I saw tweets. People saying like, hey man, like tell me why Seth Rollins is having worse match with Nakamura than in 2023 than Keiji Muto. And I was like, no.
Yes.
No. I was there for that, by the way. Remember, I was in the building for that. I was in Budokan Hall for that. And I was like, no. That can't be.
Yes. Doing worse than the grandfather, James.
You must be mistaken. No. Can't be. And I guess it was
This went 28 minutes. This match felt like it would never end.
It went 28 minutes.
Yes. In a last man standing match. So they're doing 7, 8. Get your ass up. Like, just a complete nothing show. Top to bottom. Like, didn't matter. Like, yeah, you got a title, a Raw Tag Team title match switch. Bro, get me fucking Walter on these pay-per-views. Stop fucking with me.
Haven't they been like basically putting him off to like have him have a match, like a big match on the Raw, like the week before, like on the go home shows before wrestling or pay-per-views, kind of?
Yes. Like Cody should have been wrestling John Cena on this show. Like, do something.
Does John Cena want to have an actual match though, or does he just want to fuck around?
He's so whole time in this 17-minute tag team match. So,
but it's different than having himself or Cody for forever.
I mean, he could make Cody sell.
I don't think it's a good idea to have either one of them face you at this point. But I get what you mean. Like, if you want to do something interesting, you can do that. Yeah, that could main event. Obviously,
look, maybe they don't want to do anything interesting. So,
I mean, there is something to that. Which is weird because, like, if you're gonna have 5 matches, why the fuck not try to entertain us? Or by entertain us, I mean entertain Rich enough to where he'd be like, "Yeah, you can watch it, James." And Rich is like, "Nah, ain't no point." I was like, "You ain't got to tell me twice. I ain't watching this shit."
Not it. Sir.
Like, yeah, like if it's a pay per view where it's like, if it's a pay per view or whatever else, I'll watch it. If it's one of these ones where it's like, yeah, whatever, I might throw it on. Like I threw in a Puerto Rican one, right?
Yeah, that show was awesome.
Yes, it was. It was. I think we're not at the point where we're out of that, like that run where we were like WWE pay-per-views have turned around. I think we're out of that now. I think they're kind of
we had the SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think they're dipping back into the bad. They got to fix that. Like, I can, they're winning right now. They're everything's working for them. And I thought a part of that was a part of their pay-per-views were so much better than they had been. And they got to fix that if it's going to be this again, because it'll go right back to, people being, frustrated with the company.
AEW Dynamite last week. Interesting show. So they had some stuff on here I thought was great. And then we had just more of like shit I couldn't believe.
All right, so before we go through it, I thought this was an important show. I thought this was leaving out the pay-per-view, like we actually are moving forward and actually telling stories in a way and getting the ground set for like going into full gear. And people love to do the narrative that like these AEW pay-per-views have late builds to them. Like, and it's like, nah, you're just not paying attention. Like, stuff's been set in motion for you to get a match. It just hasn't been announced yet. You're tripping. Right? Like, we always go into, 3 weeks out and knowing about half the card already. In this case, we got the main event. So, yeah.
So, we opened up. It was Renee interviewing Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega backstage. This segment was hilarious. All these Canadians backstage.
Did it feel like a WWE thing, because it's like, why are they together? And it's only in service of bringing out Edge with them, and you'd be like, oh, it's Team Canada all in front of you. Cool. I don't mean in a bad way. Just it seems like that's not something that AEW normally does. Where like we have these guys all like to talk, and then we have one of them interrupt them so they can all like blow each other, kind of.
So Jericho basically talked up their history, and they talk about, Omega and Jericho, 4 years ago, we were on the opposite sides. And this is I think this is the anniversary. 4-year anniversary of Dynamite.
Yep.
Clap it up, for Dynamite. Jesus.
We got to make one more year. We got to, can't rest on the Lord. We got to make it half a decade at least, Yeah.
They talked about, they're teaming up tonight and all that. And then all of a sudden, Adam Copeland is there. I'm like, wow, interesting.
He's so much taller than both of them.
He is. He said he's, here for the 4th anniversary. He hopes to be here for the 8th, the 12th, and the 20th. I'm like, yo,
slow
that's
down,
a lot
brother.
of edge.
Slow down. Slow down. Let's just get you to let's get you to the 5th anniversary. You can't be out here just expecting new motherfuckers from WWE to come over here and they ain't gonna be around forever. We just saw how the last one worked out. You just worry about getting to 5, brother. Before you have a brawl out situation, you're like, what did I ever do to an empty-headed dumb fuck like Christian Cage to deserve this?
So he shook Chris Jericho's hand, and then Kenny looks at him. He's like, "Hey man, I was a little worried when you showed up. You had me on the edge of my seat."
Yeah,
and I laughed.
Sure.
So they shake hands, and Ed said, he's got their backs. He also knows Don Callis, which I thought was a nice touch.
It is a shoot. I
know,
right? Yeah. He used to be on the podcast for Edge and Christian. They talking about how much of a carny he was back then too. Yeah,
he said, "Hey, I'll offer a hand. Any help you guys need, let me know." And stick it to the Don Callis family. I was like, this made me smile. I was like, all right,
yeah,
shook hands,
So I meant to ask you this. We've had conversations like this before. Does Kenny just have no interest in being a babyface? And when they ask him to be a babyface, he's like, "Fine, I'll do it for the company, but I don't really want to do this."
I don't know. He doesn't seem.
It seems like he tries so much harder when he's a heel.
I don't
as far
know
as the presentation, being on camera, talking on the mic. Showing charisma, showing interest. He did this thing and it was I don't want to say he checked out. It wasn't that, but it was kind of just I'm pushing the cart along, whatever, to play, to get to the thing so we can get off this and I can go back to doing whatever the hell I was doing. As opposed to dressed like an asshole and absolutely burying Orange Cassidy. That, it's just, you can see he enjoys it so much more when he's a heel. He really does.
I don't think in this case he's standing as Chris Jericho, who's
right,
infinitely more charismatic as a babyface.
Yeah, naturally,
right? Yeah. And that's just not gonna be he's not gonna overtake the screen.
So you feel like he got lost?
That.
He is more I'm more thinking I'm not acknowledging he kind of got lost in the wash. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair, I guess. Yeah.
But I think he's he's more of the thoughtful kind of, he's not in your face thing. It's almost whatever his story is will dictate how you feel about him. And
don't get me wrong. I still want him to fucking V-trigger Callis in the face.
Right.
Don't get that twisted.
I think Callis and by extension the family are so strong as heels. Mm-hmm. That will actually set up him to kind of. I feel like he needs extra care. You can't just say, "Hey, Kenny, go out there and have him love you." In a match setting, he can do that or whatever. But it's not there. On the mic and stuff like that.
I just think it feel. You've seen him cut these great promos as heels and everywhere, right? It was can I get the one? Can I? Obviously it's a real high. He'll ask me can I get the one killer babyface from where it's look, man, you turn your back on me and I'm finna fuck you up.
He needs to do it for.
I need one of those. Hey, man, I've had enough. You've heard you've heard of Bushi now. You ran this man down. You hunted him down in the country. I'm finna put hands on you and hurt you in ways you couldn't imagine.
This should be the time because you did the sit down thing with Jim Ross and that was all set up.
They fucking jumped him. Fuck.
Jumped him so it's it's always an excuse to where he can't do it. So I think it would be nice to do it.
Before it was you was out here throwing out that line, CM Punk and letting him talk. Well, how about it fucking now? It's CM Punk doing. Like Juice and Jay White ain't out here doing CM Punk's doing at this stage of the game.
Shit's stupid, bro. But yeah, we opened up with a classic matchup: Nick Jackson versus Ray Phoenix. Love it.
Great match. Easily the best match of the night. Easily.
I saw these guys in the ring, and they were on commentary saying, these guys were responsible for people looking at wrestling in a new way, like, the style. And I'm like, it's just lucha libre. Like, it's just sometimes people make AEW out to be so different when it's like, nah, man, it's just a lot of shit that people have liked for a long time that didn't. Okay, maybe in this regard, like it's not showcased on that level, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, man, like, why don't we start treating these guys like the all-time greats they are, rather than these novelties? Like, we talked about how great Ray Phoenix was a couple weeks ago on this show, where I'm like, yo, if you fucking look at, like, if you subscribe to Dave's star ratings, right? If you look at them and you look at the great wrestlers that have achieved this 5-star rating, right? You look at them, right? Ray Phoenix is tied for number 17, and he's had like 9 of them or whatever, right? Like, Nick Jackson is even above that. It's like, no, man, we're dealing with, like, I don't know. It's just I feel like there's a hesitancy to really put themselves over, like, of, who the fuck these guys are. Like, these are living legends, like, and I think they should be kind of pushed as that. But they just don't, for whatever reason. This is great. I think about the International Championship. I want to see Phoenix keep holding on to this thing. I don't know how injured he is, but he didn't really take a lot of back bumps or anything. Nick, phenomenal in this thing, and like halfway through the match I was like, man, flip it to Nick and then flip it back to Phoenix. I was like, man, like, just switch this bitch up a little bit. But it was like,
this man wants to
I had so much fun. I had so much fun watching this.
This match is great. It wasn't as good as their match that they had in Indianapolis in 2019, but this match is incredible still. Either it's 4.5, 4 3/4.
I'd probably go 4.5.
I was thinking 4.5 plus, but like I'm in a weird funk where like everything I rate, like I am rating, like I'm dragging my feet compared to everybody else. So there's that part. But yeah, I thought this match was great. It really was. It was really fun.
Phoenix got the pin with a victory roll, and then we get Roderick Strong and Adam Cole with the audio fucked up. So,
yep, which is a follow-up of last week when they had fucked up audio issues too. But this one was apparently on TBS. But yeah, man, they've had some audio or technical production difficulties like the last 2 weeks. This week was nearly as bad as, go ahead.
This was a signal from God, I thought. Like, we don't need to be playing this. Like, I just saw what was going on in there. I didn't want to see it. I was like, I saw a mobility scooter. I think giraffes, if I'm not mistaken, were there. Like, I don't know what was going on. But
Taven had a stuffed giraffe that he was using as almost like a emotional
shoot me
animal.
Now. Shoot me now.
So,
and then they play it again, James.
Yeah. So for me, it was like I was struggling through the audio, but I made out everything they were doing. I laughed when they first did they're basically like playing like tag or racing around each other in like the, with the wheelchair and the scooter thing. I thought it was funny. So like I enjoyed it for what it was, but when they ran it back a second time, I was like, there's no point in running it back a second time. Like the audio is not going to change. You watching it and seeing exactly what the fuck's going on or whatever. But they decided to do it. It wasn't worth it to me. But yeah, man, like people are into this in ways that we aren't. I find it obviously a lot more humorous and amusing than you do. I just wonder what like Cole's injury situation is, because like this could go a lot. this could go a lot longer than you would anticipate if it's bad, because like they could pull the trigger on all this stuff with the beat down at the end of the show and all that kind of stuff, like over the, you know, before we even get the full gear, they could pull that. If Cole's fucked up, they can't do it, or you would think they can't do it. So, yeah, they're in a situation of figuring out like his health situation right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was not a fan of this, and I just was like putting my head in my hands, just like, what are we doing? Like it was just like, great. Like I have nothing to add. Like, just speechless. Griff Garrison's in the ring. I was like, whoa, wow, I haven't seen Griff in a long time. You know, and then all of a sudden Warlow comes out, and then I'm fired up. Warlow's growing his hair back a little bit. I'm like, someone has told him grow the hair back, but it's like, you know, it's like kind of fluffy feathered right now. So like, you gotta get the long wet hair back. You gotta get the long hair back, Warlow. Quit playing. He gets in the ring. He has MJF written on his wrist tape. I didn't notice that the first time when I saw it, but he gave, you know, basically showed no kind of like sympathy or emotion, really aggressive, and I was like, oh, it looks like we're, you know, someone is figured out Warlow just needs to kill people. Like, it doesn't need to be too complicated or anything. Powerbombs this guy 5 times. He stop it, and he walks out through the crowd. We'll see.
He was over in a way that he hadn't on the way out. So, yeah, yes. The time away did him some good. But I think there's a shelf life on him just powerbomb squash people. So whatever they got an idea on doing, they better get to it quick.
Zakumaki, can he go back to the knee and the turnbuckle? They took all Warlow's cool moves.
Oh, what was he calling it? What was he called? He called it a something trigger.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah, I think he has an end for
the war trigger.
War trigger, okay. Yeah. And
then, you know, the whole deal with the he was using the F10. He stopped using that. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't... He needs to find a way to do a good 18-minute match, though. It's tough. I mean, you know...
He ain't got to do an 18-minute match. He only got to do an 18-minute match if he's in the main event.
He wrestled Hangman Page on Dynamite before, and that was awesome.
That didn't go 18 minutes. That went like 10.
It didn't go
12.
18, but, you know, it was still like a high-profile, like, kind of match.
Yeah.
So, like...
I love that match.
Like, maybe, like, the deal isn't,
the cage
like, put him in there
with... The cage match with Cody was more than 10 minutes.
Right. Like, it's not... Like, this guy's you got to use him as a main eventer or against the main eventers. Like, you can't put him in there with the mid-card and say, hey, Warlow, it's on you. Like, to figure it out. Like, nah. Like, I don't think that's his game. But, hopefully, you know, it works for him because, you know, I always like Warlow. So,
yeah.
Then we got Renee interviewing Don Callis and Kenosi and Takeshita, and they call out Sammy Guevara. Sammy basically says pinning Chris Jericho shook AEW to his foundation so bad that the quack doctor... Or excuse me, Callis said that Sammy pinning Jericho, you know, shook AEW to his foundation so bad that the quack doctors declared Sammy unfit to compete. I believe he did get injured or something. He said, but there's no.
He was concussed, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the middle of watching that match, and I was like, "Oh, he got knocked out." And then he just continued. I was like, "Wow, should he continue?" He continued. But like, and then that's how he's, you know, scheduled for this match. I was like, wait, what? I kind of thought he was loopy, and then sure enough, that last second they changed it to Fletcher. So,
yeah. So then Don says, "There's no shortage of eager young athletes looking for a chance to be part of his family."
Oh,
so
here we go.
So on the advice of Will Ospreay, he reached out into the vault and pulled out Kyle Fletcher to team up with Takeshita. That's right. Don Callis, collector of young men.
I knew he was going there. All right, so
I mean, he said it.
State your case. State your case.
I mean, look, like Don is always around looking for young men, and we know the story. Allegedly, how the story goes when, you know,
he met Kenny Omega when he was 10.
when he met Kenny Omega when he was 10 years old, and he was giving him supplements as a teenager. This man was grooming. This man was strapping his fortunes to these young athletes.
Okay, I'm glad that's how you finish after you said strapping. Okay. So I was like, where is he going now? Where is he taking me?
This man is trading on the bodies of young men. This man is just cycling through them. He's got will now, and he's even going younger with Takeshita and Fletcher. Like, he's always keeping his eye on the younger they get, and the faster he can get them, into the family. He wants to make sure they're real close. This man. So basically, what I'm saying is, this evil man must be stopped.
I definitely agree on that end. Yes, he must be toppled like a dictator.
And notice, the older the men get, the more they become an enemy. Like Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, they eventually, remove themselves from that, But he tells Chris, people remember who wins the war, not the battles, and they're going to win the war. So then they replay the Adam Cole vignette. Then we got the Acclaimed Trios title match against Butcher and the Blade and Kip Sabian. Thought this stunk. I think all these Acclaimed matches have stunk lately.
Yep.
And I think the AEW Trios championships are in hell. I think the continued insistence of Billy Gunn wearing a championship has weakened this act. I think it is
considerably
headed towards being very stale at the moment, and it doesn't seem like there's any real interest in like booking the trios belts to really mean anything ever since the Elite lost them. And they could be used. Like, there's lots of wrestlers everywhere.
There's lots of faction still.
Lots of and there's just no interest in it. It's just like this side gag to get the Acclaim on the show.
It's also funny?
Do the scissoring thing and to Max a spit a mid-verse every week.
Right. It's also funny? Like, we talk about, like, the Elite being the AEW World Trios Champions. Like, the Elite are the Ring of Honor Trios Champions currently right now.
Correct.
You would never fucking know it. They just recently won them. This is something that's getting left by the wayside. The trios division in AEW and Ring of Honor have been left by the wayside. In given all the factions they have, given it like, people like best friends with Chuck and Trent and Orange Cassidy. That's something that should be right up their fucking alley right now, this very second. So yeah, and they should get on that. They should definitely get on that.
Yep. All these Acclaim matches are exactly the same. There's no, uniqueness at this point. There's no real
hot
threat.
tag for Billy Gunn. Then comes the finish from Caster, right?
Yep. So we got a video package going over Danielson and Sabre. We got another recap of Swerve and Hangman. Then they announced that Swerve will be wrestling Danielson next week or tomorrow night in a number one contenders match for the TNT Championship. James, you can wake Gordon Soley up himself and ask him to credibly explain to the audience why this is a number one contender match for the TNT belt instead of the world title, and he could not do it.
Agreed.
You asked for them Danielson matches. Are we gonna get one this week, James?
Yeah, appreciate it very much. So, I guess we got to start like cherishing these Wednesday Danielson shows instead of having to be like, oh, he's on Saturday. Like, what kind of word of mouth you got to hear to be able to turn on or watch that copy of Collision you got on your hard drive, James? Because like, I got all them copies of Collision. I ain't been like convinced to throw not one of them on. I've heard great things about the things Danielson have done on Collision. I've heard wonders about his. I've heard wonders about his work. I still be like, nah, man, I ain't got it in me to go throw that on. So yeah, man. Really appreciate him, figuring out his busy schedule as a father, a family man to bring his ass to Wednesday to get it done. I appreciate it, and I'm definitely going to enjoy watching some Swerve and Danielson. Definitely.
So the winner actually gets Christian on Saturday on Collision. So,
well, I guess that. Well, we'll see. We'll see, because Swerve has been on Collision before.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who's gonna win. I think Danielson's gonna win, but who knows?
I mean, either one. How about this? Whoever wins, you push all the way until they win a championship. Whoever wins,
it would be nice.
It really would be. It really would be.
So the only thing I can think of why this is a TNT one is like they're about to announce the Full Gear tournament soon, and I think the finals will probably end up being Swerve and Hangman.
Okay.
That would be my guess. I don't know anything. I'm just kind of looking at it. Like I'm thinking about how they're going to do another match with Swerve and Hangman. It was kind of I don't know if definitive would be the right word to use, but it was clear who won, I think, and I could see them run that back as a tournament final, and then they can. I have one wish for this Eliminator tournament.
What's that, Ray J?
Can you please, Tony Khan? Can you try to act like you're trying to book the best tournament possible once this year, please? Like, can we have something that resembles the New Japan Cup, please? Like, can we not have like 3 people in the bracket where it's like, why the fuck are they in this tournament? That's basically designed to get one person across a sorry bracket while they put some decent matchups on the other side, and then it's all about the final. I want a whole fucking tournament. I want, if you're gonna do 8 people in it, I want both sides fucking hitting to the end. People fucking going at it. Like I want great matches in this thing.
I mean, that would be nice.
It would be nice.
It would be nice on our pro wrestling programs to have like our best wrestlers wrestling for tournaments to like have a chance to win titles. Yes, I
would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah.
Then Bullet Club Gold and MJF have this segment, and MJF, bring your ass to the stage, my boy. It is time for self-reflection. It is time for self-evaluation. It is time to wonder how much longer this motherfucker is going to have the championship. He got thoroughly outclassed by not only Jay White, but the Gunn Brothers, James.
And it was the Gunn Brothers when they were out here with the wooden delivery, as if like they rehearsed their lines in the mirror.
This man is really trying to get Tofu over as a nickname, begging the crowd to cheer his catchphrases, and all this stuff. And I'm like, what has happened to this guy? Is this a loss of confidence? Like what is happened? Like, have the Monstars taken this man's powers?
He's in his laziness bag.
This is like Jay White has eviscerated him in this whole thing. And
which is saying something, because Jay White ain't exactly like doing anything impressive. This ain't exactly like Eddie Kingston level stuff.
Correct. Like, what does it say about the state of the championship when I am begging Jay White, of all people, to save it? This is who we are now.
Yeah, man.
Talentless taint. He tries to get chanted, James. Tofu.
Yeah, tofu's awful. It's awful. Try tofu first time in Japan. Not good. Not a fan. Anyway. Yeah.
Set up Full Gear.
I'm interested to see the match, because it seems like we finally have an opponent that like he'll actually try to do something with and have a real competitive, really good match with. So that's cool. My one concern is that it's Jay White and it's MJF, so therefore like this match is going 45 minutes, and I don't want that at all. Like this match should go 28 minutes at tops, but whatever.
I think this is like, I think MJF has gotten, as you mentioned, incredibly lazy. His title reign has been like going on for almost a year now. No one's even talking about it. And it's like, why are we not looking at him more for like the business of this company, for the temperature of this company, for like...
The crazy part is he's still this whole thing with him and Cole is still the top thing in the company. We just not fans of it. Right? So that's why it's like really interesting to think about. It's like he's a champion. He's doing something that has nothing to do with the championship. So like, why don't we move it off of him right now? He could do what he's doing already, except like lowering the card. And like we could, have Danielson, Swerve, Page, Omega, Jericho, Takeshita, Ospreay, doing something with that belt. It's a weird thing right now. It's like he's side questing, like he's definitely side questing why he's a champion right now. Like the whole ROH tag team title thing, like it's a side quest, but he's a champion right now at the same time.
So frustrating. Yeah, like he's advertised the most. Like he gets all of his quarter hours in the premium spots.
Yep.
So like all that stuff helps, but like all that shit is down. Like still, like they're having to lie up to 11K at Arthur Ashe Stadium and do tons of buy one get one frees. Like the live attendance is falling in the gutter, and it's just like I don't want to hear about Adam Copeland being the problem right now. Like when
he just got here, the fuck?
Right. When he shows up for a match, they're like, ever since Adam Copeland was advertised, I'm like, what about the motherfucker that's had the belt for 11 months? He was advertised, wasn't he?
Yep. And started with a reign of terror, doing everything to not have matches. Now he's having matches and just putting in effort to maybe like not even have these matches. So yeah,
it is like. In the words of that soccer fan, the bald-headed guy, y'all know what I'm about to say. It's time to go. It is time to go. I'm done.
And that's the other part that's weird about it is like normally around this time in an AEW World Title reign, we have somebody that's just screaming to you, screaming to the screen, screaming to the fans, screaming to the world, like that's the heir apparent. I don't see an heir apparent on hand. Like the only person that makes any sense right now would be Adam Cole. It's like after he's hurt, and two, like after that match he had at Wembley, like I don't want to see them have another match. Not unless they're gonna give me the first match, not that, and keep that second one the fuck away. So yeah, and it's like Adam Cole's the AEW World Champion. What did he do to do it? Oh, he was put into a program and then got over after he was already, in the program, put into the main event title scene. Was he hot before then? No. He just showed back the fuck up. It's really like weird with him. It's really weird.
Sounds like a recipe of like being like 3 months into your title reign and people looking around like, hey, we got to get this shit off him.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Like, they got to figure it out. Like, they got to get someone up in the bullpen and get ready. Because, like, whether it's Darby, whether it's anybody, like, they need to get ready. Like, I saw, the MJF thing saying something to Omega about 26 days. That's before full year. So, I don't know. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what kind of interaction they're about to have on screen. Or if MJF's just fucking around. Because all he does is fuck around. But, yeah, man, like how
about Kenny cut that promo you were talking about where he wants to defend his record and challenge him or something before that? Yeah, like that 26 days thing, because that's like when he'll pass Omega's how long he had the championship.
Oh, that's what that was about.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. That's
the problem. Like MJF has had this shit and we ain't even thinking about it. It's just like, oh.
Well, it's also like his title reign is meant to be long and like is not that to have great matches in between. Like he literally had a mission. That was his mission statement in his first night with the belt after he won it. Right. So it's like, I'm not looking for like him to actually care. Well, I imagine him as a heel wanting to care about it, but he's a babyface now. So why do you even give a shit? Like, I surpassed you. You took every fucking shortcut in the book. You still have all these matches where like nobody actually ever wins or loses except for the one match he had at Wembley where like he won. Like, I'm just kind of, whatever. Like they'll figure it out.
I'm MJF'd out, man. I'm MJF'd out.
Yeah, that's the part. Like he needs to take a week off. He's on the show every single week, doing a promo every single week when no one even does a promo every other week. Yeah, he's just
take that shit up to I-95, man.
He might just need to change the scenery. Like, the whole thing about what's his gimmick about 2024?
Yeah, the War 2024.
Hey man, best luck to you in New York. He'll do much better there than he's doing right now here. As we said the same thing about Cody, and look, and it worked out great for him. You too could be balling at the place you always wanted to be. You too could do that. Yes.
Oh man. So we got up next. We got Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega against Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. Solid match right here.
Yeah.
This was like a Kyle Fletcher showcase. He was getting extended time with both Jericho and Omega. Looks like Jericho and Takeshita were again practicing for their match in DDT, getting familiar. This was like sometimes you don't see like Kenny Omega in these kind of matches, I think, where it's just like, yeah, it's just a match. It's not like depending on to be kind of like this epic match or whatever. And it was almost like they kind of got to let their hair down a little bit. He went crazy with the dragon suplexes, of course. Fletcher and Jericho did a lot of nice chopping to each other, and this ended up with the code breaker from Jericho, electric chair into the one wing angel, and then this is a pretty good match. But after the match, kind of like as the whole thing, all of a sudden Will Hobbs, wearing all the grease, comes in and attacks Jericho and Kenny Omega. And Don Callis emerges, and it's like Don Callis has collected another man, and he extendedly whoops Kenny Omega's ass like all around the barricade and the crowd and everything like that. Had the gloves on, so it looks like he's maybe like this contract killer. I don't know what the whole thing is. When he fucks up Jericho too, they get in the ring. They try to tie Kenny's arms up in the ropes and everything. Gets fucked up.
Yep.
Then they put it back up there and hold it a little bit, but it gets fucked up again. Yep. Callis then hits Kenny Omega in the head with a chair for the boys, and taking the chair back. Will Ospreay, a lot of offense to the body, or excuse me, Will Hobbs, a lot of offense to the body. So they're gonna have Team Will and Will apparently here. So they fucked them up, and then they announced Jericho and Hobbs for next week.
Yeah, good beatdown. Interesting to see like Wardlow shows up back on Dynamite for first time forever, and all of a sudden Hobbs is like, "Oh, nah, we've escaped the jail cell of Saturday." Yeah, so they're back here. They're back here. Who knows for how long or whatever else, but Hobbs and Omega is never a match I ever thought about, honestly.
Not once.
Yeah,
I've never thought about that once.
Could be fun. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Because that'll answer all the questions.
That'll answer a lot of questions. It will. Yeah.
So MJF is in
here,
training.
brother.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of great workers around this feud. Like all them niggas, Sammy, Ospreay, Takeshita. Like, if it don't go, it's gonna be on you. So yeah. Prepare. Okay, now the next thing, MJF is sitting in the trainer's room, and my God, if what's about to happen, I think is gonna happen. This could get like...
What do you think is going to happen, Rich? Well, actually, let's describe what happened on screen.
Okay, so MJF's going to rub down, kind of like a massage or whatever, but like...
Because he has a bad neck. He's had a bad neck ever since the Samoa Joe feud.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Max Caster appears behind him and starts giving him the back rub. Those of us that follow on Twitter see all the time, Max Caster basically, he's always tweeting ludicrous things about MJF and things he would like to do to him.
Online, he is sexually harassing MJF. There's no other way there's no other way around it. That's exactly what he's doing. Yes.
And then, Max realizes him and fucking snaps. And then he's like, hey, man, why are you being a weird stalker? Like, what is this? And then, basically cusses him out. And then he's like, get the fuck out of here. And Caster bounces. Like, are they about to do Max versus the Acclaimed for the ROH belts? Or, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here, man. Like, or is it going to be the Acclaim coming to Max's aid and against the Bullet Club Gold people? Like, either one of these, like, I'm like, I don't want any part of this Max Caster and MJF shit. Like, it just like
it gives you all the like Gold Dust 90s stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be MJF and the Acclaim against Bullet Club Gold, like, something like that. Like, I guess. And, they probably want to work with each other. They're from the same wrestling school and stuff like that. But it's like...
Yeah. Cool. Sure. However, I don't like the idea that one babyface is sexually harassing the other babyface online. And then, like, the one that gets sexually harassed doesn't like these advances, has, like, begrudgingly begin liking the guy. Like, that's weird. Like, that we would never let that fly if we change up the genders of some of these wrestlers. And the same exact situation was happening. We would not be doing that.
It's asking a lot of us, I think. Like,
and then it throws out the part where it's like, how does MJF strike the line of saying, "Hey, bro, no, thank you," without also coming off as a bad guy? Because
he has to then rap, James. He has to rap. We're going to get MJF rapping by the end of this. Have you thought about this?
No, I have not thought about this.
Does Anthony Bowens, like, when Anthony Bowens walks him in there and tells him to knock that shit off, like, are you going to be prepared for having the gay man be the straight man? Are you going to be prepared for this?
Can we move on?
It's all
look,
there.
Man, that was a great line. I'm not gonna kill your thunder. But that was a great line. Are you prepared for the game?
Look, I thought I walked the line properly. I didn't say anything to get canceled.
Hey, Caster, can you cut the shit? You knock it off.
Yeah.
Like, we're here doing serious graps now. Scissor me, daddy ass. Anyway, yeah, man. Yes. Yes. There's a lot of ways this can be funny. There's also a lot of ways where it can go bad. I don't think they will step on any of those landmines. I'm just like a lot of MJF stuff right now is like, just at face value, how does any of this stuff work or make sense, or why does the crowd like just take to it as opposed to just like being captivated by his charisma? Because like, MJF has done absolutely nothing to redeem himself. Like, he's an absolute asshole who is friends with another person that last time we saw him before he got injured with a neck injury was an asshole. So the only reason why we feel upset about him, or we're happy for him to be back, is because like we thought his career was over. But it's like, all right, port that into real sports. People that are assholes all the time get injured. Like when Aaron Rodgers, if he makes it back to the football field after tearing his Achilles this year, are people going to feel good for him? No.
We're gonna hope he goes down again.
So when it's a fake television show, I'm supposed to now be like, oh yeah, it's cool, because like, this guy that like literally said that like he shoved the motherfucker that was giving him a blowjob in his seat to take the rap for a car accident. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm just over this whole thing with Cole and Adam, Cole and MJF, and like their baby faces, even though they done fuck all to actually be likable, other than they like each other. When it's like, these two assholes like each other. Sounds like a heel faction to me.
Yeah.
Like, how is that any different when, like, MJF was hanging out with Shawn Spears?
Yeah. So with the Acclaim now, if they're involved in this thing, I feel like those trios belts have to like make their way to like Juice and the Guns. Like, how do they do this? They got to rope Billy Gunn into this too. Like, it just seems like a lot. while MJF has the world title.
Okay.
While he has the fucking ROH tag team titles. Like, they're all fucking mixed up in this thing.
Okay.
While Jay White is running around with the fucking world title as a stolen belt angle.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Okay. Okay. Let's back up. You, amidst all the stuff that sounds like a problem, you gave me one thing that just actually made me like happy. Like the idea of seeing Billy Gunn in the ring with Juice Robinson. And Billy Gunn, you know, Mr. Suck It guy, is doing all that stuff. And he has to be in the ring with a dude that looks like a goddamn cartoon character. They could do something fun with that. But whatever, we'll see. But it's a lot of they're doing so much with and relying so heavily on MJF right now. That it feels like a lot of the other people that are, you know, the usuals are doing less. And I kind of wish at this point right now, I feel like they spread MJF too thin right now. And they kind of need to go back to the basics with him right now. But who knows? Because, you know, like the Adam Cole's health thing is maybe making them drag their feet. Spinning their circles, if you will. Like, because that's kind of what's happening on, you know, WWE with, like, no Roman with them. So, like, they have to keep pretending to turn on each other and doing just an elaborate mind fuck until Roman comes back and they can actually do what they need to do for storyline and get to the pay-per-view.
We then got a vignette from Samoa Joe. Said he was satisfied, but he needs to regain the hunger as a champion. He's coming for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Said Max earned his respect, and when he's hungry, he always eats. Samoa Joe looks fresh off of a Sopranos outtake. During this whole thing.
Do you know who the Kingpin is?
No.
The Kingpin is a Spider-Man and Daredevil villain. He's basically a mob boss. That's exactly what I was thinking of right there. Well, he's not a mob boss. He's not like, he's not, you know, mobbed up, but like, he's basically like organized crime. He's the head of it. He's a kingpin of organized crime. That's his nickname. And like, it gave off a lot of Kingpin vibes. That's all I want to say. I don't need to go any further.
Sky Blue versus Tony Storm. So people have noticed this online, and then, you know, last week also, Julia has misted these people, meaning Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale. I tell you right now, if you turn Willow Nightingale heel to be in a group with Julia Hart on some shit like that, I think that is just one of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard of.
She's the best babyface to have that's not a champion right now.
Like
that shows up on TV like at least once every 3 weeks. You know, Riho is, you know,
that would be like this would be tragic. You know, she's fighting timeless Tony Storm. Jesus. This whole thing with her. Just, I don't even know what to say.
Okay, so I think a lot of the things of why the MJF stuff for a lot of people isn't working, especially me and you, is the part where like it's at the top of the card. It is it's the top title thing. It's in the way of a lot of stuff. This, however, is not. This is low stakes stuff, and for me, like Tony Storm digging into this character, going more and more crazy and wacky, and like quite frankly, like honestly funny in a way that like isn't lazy and like the MJF stuff has been. I actually enjoy this stuff. Like the idea, you know, even going to the Collision where she has to script stuff for Kiera Hogan. Like I find it funny. Like I feel like she actually has a character that people are connecting with. Now that she's not the champion, I just wonder. I wonder why the fuck they put the belt on Saraya. Beyond the part where it's the obvious, where it's like, why would you ever do this? Is like, if you knew what you knew now, you would have went back with Tony Storm. But go ahead, continue with your thing about Sky Blue and Tony Storm.
Sky Blue and Tony Storm. I remember nothing about this match.
I remember one thing in particular.
Was this the one where she basically like closed out the commercial? Like basically is like,
well, two things.
Like,
yes. She lays her out and says, "We'll be right back after a very important message from our sponsors." Yes.
Yeah, and then she's like, "It's titty slapping time" or some shit like that, right?
3 things. So I remember 3 things. You turned on this now. You going over the shit you talking about. Like, this shit always kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, there's also the part where we have some what do you call it? How do you say this? We have some heathens online that will note some of these matchups between Tony Storm versus other women.
Tony Storm in her own division.
Well, depends on
champion.
Depends on who's. Anyway, so they put Tony Storm and Sky Blue in the ring together again. They just like their 3rd match this year. And the heathens ate it up. People from some of those, accounts that you don't follow. And yeah, man, like I never really paid attention before, but I'm looking at it, it's like, yeah, man, so like the way people talk about Sky Blue, and we talked before, is like, y'all only like her because she's young or whatever else. Y'all are weird. And yeah, man, like a Chrysler 300 looks like a Bentley until a Bentley pulls up. And I'll leave it at that. Because that Bentley pulled up, and that Bentley looked like a whole Bentley the whole goddamn time. Meanwhile, this Chrysler 300 was out here struggling. But yeah, man. Tony Storm gets the win, and then she has a match with Kiera Hogan on Collision, and it's just like that's another one of those matchups. And it's like, I think we might be on to something very similar to how you say, hey man, it's like, is Athena's gimmick, she just out here just beating up white women, is like, hey man, is Tony Storm, is she like, is this her side quest right now? Is like Tony Storm got ass, she out here and the rest of the other women in the AEW and Ring of Honor with ass? Like, is that what's going on right now? Is that
They're killing them?
Start or something?
Didn't you have a phrase for that?
I don't remember what the phrase was. You have
Tony Storm, the assassin.
Oh yes, the assassin. That's right. Yeah, the assassin. I thought you were talking about like the other part where I was talking about Tony Storm and Scott Blue. I was like, is in the ring, easily outclassed, and then amongst other things, easily out-assed.
We gotta go.
We can move on. We're done. I know I really don't talk like this, but we can move on. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think I'm going to try not to be so bothered about the timeless Tony Storm thing. It's just like, I just see the influence growing. And like, there's going to be 10 motherfuckers with gimmicks like this eventually, like running around. It's just going to be like, I've had enough. Like, Shivani's in the ring, introduces Adam Copeland, comes out, does his entrance. And Adam Copeland switches up the game like some ludicrous shit. He says Tony Schiavone was the soundtrack to his childhood.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal to share a ring with him. He loves them.
Told David to hit the bricks. I fucking
hit the
howled.
bricks.
I howled.
I'm like, but he was WCW. I know he was in WWF for a year, but forget that. Forget that.
No, that's the thing, though. Like, the narrative about Edge is that he was a WWF fan because you could see him in that one picture of him at WrestleMania 6.
Yeah.
They did not talk about the part where, like, he was a wrestling fan, so he's watching all the shit. It was always just from the WWE perspective because he always worked in WWE. So there was no reason for him to talk unless it was like, I don't think they ever brought Edge on the best of, the Rise and Fall WCW DVD to talk about, like, seeing Sting. But it makes all the sense in the world because, like, I was like that when I was his age, I was older than me, but like, I was like that too. Like, I watched both.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If I was working at WWE my whole entire life, I would have been talking about, Brett and Sean or whatever else. But I'd be like, look, man, Talking about Rey Mysterio if you want to. Oh, you don't want
Yeah.
to? All right, I got time whenever I go back when I go to Turner.
He said he came out here to talk to all of us, and he wants to rewind back to 2011, where he was told he could never do this again. But here we are in 2023. He's standing in the AEW ring. The few reasons he came here, he's going to save the biggest for last. He doesn't know about us, but he said he's pretty sure the AEW World Championship would look good around his waist.
The crowd popped, and I was mortified. I was like, "No, bro, we cannot. No."
Yeah, nah.
Like this is. I'm sorry, Kurt Franklin, but it's not time to go back. Like you see that video? Have you seen that video where he talked about his daughter and like she named her daughter Levi, and he's like, we moved too, we moved too fast. He's like, if it was me, the baby would have been named. What was it? The name would have been named Diane. Phyllis.
Yeah.
Johnny May. I was like, nah, bro, we're not going back to these country ass names. No, we're not doing that. So anyway, like that's how the game forward.
Look, no Adam, no Edge, no Copeland. And he starts throwing out names. Adam Copeland versus John Moxley. Yay. Copeland versus Kenny Omega. Yay. Versus Miro. Yay. Versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Yay. To a lesser extent. Versus Jay White. Versus Juice Robinson. And, these are all reasons he came to be here. And he wants to challenge himself 31 years into his career. He said it before. This will be the last time he says it. Main reason he came to AEW is because he sat down with his family, his daughters Lyric and Ruby. He asked them what they should do. He said, should he retire? Lyric's 9 years old and much smarter than he has it all figured out. Said he should go and have fun with Uncle Jay. Speaking of Uncle Jay, or as we call him, Christian Cage, he wants to call him down to the ring to tell him the real reason why he's here. Hey, wait a minute.
This is hilarious.
Wait a minute. Christian music hits.
Yeah.
Gets in the ring, circles Copeland before he turns and faces him. And then Adam Copeland just lays it all out on the line while this man looks at him. Adam says it was in this industry that they realized they'd be best friends for life. He's sure Cage is wondering why he attacked Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus. Is because he sees him out here with his face all pursed up and, he still loves him. He saw, Cage stand over Sting. A guy whose poster, we took to the barber, so he cut his hair the same way. Christian was Sting, and he was Lex Luger. Ironically, before he said that, I was thinking in my head, I was like, bro, this is like Lex Luger and Sting. Like I literally, like, their characters or whatever, but he said, basically, he said, here's Christian standing over a man who's made people feel for 4 decades. His wife's grandparents couldn't speak English, but they love Sting. I'm like, yo, Christian and Sting been having smoke since TNA, man. What the fuck? Like, said he couldn't stand there and watch Sting, Cage hit Sting with a concerto. But he also did it because he knows Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne are going to drop him like a bad habit the second they suck all the information from his brain. Kind of like a callback to what happened to him in Judgment Day. He's got too much of an ego to see it, but it's going to happen. So furthermore, he's here because it's time. For the first time since 2011, the first time in over 20 years for them to team together again, to face a team like FTR, like the Young Bucks, to show an entire generation of fans why they are inarguably one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Cap.
Crowd was into it.
Into it.
Crowd was super into it. Now, can I get to, before we get to, I didn't mean the dismount of this that was all time hilarious, but like the part that I thought was also funny. Didn't this man come out here and then ask us if we wanted to see matches versus Hangman and Omega and all that kind of stuff, and also say he wanted the AEW World Belt, but now all of a sudden he said the real thing is it's time for us to be a tag team together. Which one is it? Is it Black Girls Lost or Shorty OU for Ice? It can't be both.
I mean, look at MJF.
Rich, it's in the same fucking promo. Fuck. It was a great promo. I'm just pointing out, it's like, hey man, you doing a lot of like of
zigging and zagging.
You're doing a whole lot of two different
weaving
things at the same time, my brother. So go ahead, Rich.
He says, so he's out here asking Christian to end their careers together as a team and show them what they can do. Christian looks around. He's all conflicted, and the crowd chants one more time. He grabs the mic and, he gives it to Copeland before they hug. They're standing in the hug position.
No, Copeland gives it to Edge. Or Copeland gives it to Christian.
Yeah. Copeland gives it to Christian. Christian has the mic.
They hug. And the camera zooms in on Edge's face of happiness and contentment that his friend has actually agreed, as given him the hug and this embrace after so long in a different company. And then,
James,
can I do it or you want to do it? Which one?
The Zoom.
Go ahead, Zoom.
Go fuck yourself.
Bro, I fucking died. It's at least the second funniest thing I've heard this week, bro. The part where the camera shot catches Edge hugging that man, and all of a sudden you see the go fuck yourself, and then you see the smile just leave his face like, fuck. And then Christian just walks out. Oh my God, it was great camera work.
Big booze.
Hella booze. Christian's all time, man. Christian,
this was great. This was the meme.
Yes. Ever since Christian started basically becoming MJF, and MJF stopped being MJF, Christian's been like one of the best characters in pro wrestling in the last 6, 7, 8 months.
He's been phenomenal.
Oh my God. He's so good. He's so fucking good.
And
this was a great segment. This was a great
segment. 1 for 1 for Cope here. Yeah. And I heard they did something good on Collision on Saturday to close the show. So, he said before he goes, quick reminder what we're going to be against next Tuesday. Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne run out. And then, basically it's on. But yeah, that's your Dynamite review. Like I said, I did watch Collision. I watched pretty much most of it. Danielson and Fletcher was really good. I would recommend that. You guys check that out. I think there was a Lucha Libre match. It was like Meta League.
Wasn't Commander on the show wrestling somebody that wasn't a Lucha Libre?
Commander wrestled Eddie
Lucha
Kingston.
Libre, a Luchador. My God.
Yeah.
Like motherfucking Jim Ross.
Yeah, he fought Eddie Kingston. But yeah, besides that, I don't really have too much more.
Who did Rush's brother, Slow Mo?
Gravity was in that tag match.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, man. I guess we should probably talk about Kyrie. I mean, we talked about her last time, kind of leaving. She had her last Stardom match.
Yeah. I could do a non-review review as well. This pay-per-view was very fun. The main event, I think some people will think it was great. I think some people also will not be into it. Also, there's the concerns on Tam after her knee. She may or may not have blown out her knee. I don't know. It looked bad. I yelped when on the finish. But she went to roll out and walk out and all that kind of stuff, and it looked like she hit her knees fucked up. But we'll see. We'll find out in the next couple of days. So Tam retains. I guess you call this match success. I thought that the match didn't hit a certain level until they started doing high spots. The white belt match was the third from the top, but the semi-main event was the Kyrie trios match. It was Kyrie and Mayu and Nanai versus Hazuki, Kaguma, and Ida. Fun match. A lot of interactions between mostly Kyrie and Kaguma. Went down to the finish stretch. I thought it had a great finish. But it was more. It definitely gave more of a semi-main event or main event of a Road to Show House vibe with a killer stretch down at the end than the actual semi-main event of pay-per-view. But it was still very good nonetheless. The white belt match, Mirai and Momo. Another killer white belt defense from Mirai. These people that still are on the Mirai fence, you're gonna get tired of catching them L's, I'm telling you. So Also, you had a second match on the card. You had a Grand Prix reunion match, or Grand Prix rematch. It was Ano versus Azumi. This is basically a high speed match. It's awesome. It's awesome. UFW match, Shuri versus Mina. This match is fun. This match is very fun. Tells a great story, and like it made both people like you go into the match, you already know the result, but like it makes you appreciate, you know, what Mina's going for. And like for me, you know, ever since, or for about a year now, or ever since last year's Grand Prix, she's kind of stepped up into like the 2019 Tam role of just like, I'm this person that like I can win, I can beat anybody, I can lose anybody, I'm going to eat some losses, my wins are going to feel like monumental things that could finally be the thing, the reason I get to a certain point. I am so much better than like people ever thought I was going to be. So like she's killing. And let's see what else is on the card. Opening match was the high speed match between Mei Sierra and Sakashima. Finally, like the belt has been saved out of the goofy comedy nonsense of Sakashima, and is on to a real fucking high speed wrestler. So I'm really happy for Mei Sierra, and you know, fingers crossed that she, you know, gets to wrestle some of the previous high speed champions that are still in the division, and you know, not really doing you know, things that are like need all their attention and focus right now this very second. But yeah, this is in a better place right now. But yeah, like this show was good. Wasn't great, good. The best match was a white belt match. But like, you know, final 4 matches, final 3 matches all delivered in the way you expect them to. But yeah, so back to Kairi. Kairi had her send-off match, and a lot of people are doing like synopsis of her run, and it's been mostly negative for a person that, like, if you throw it in a cage match, you're like, yeah, but you know, I think a lot of people were expecting more than they were ever going to get, and expectations, you know, play a big role on this kind of stuff. But
do you think she had her eye on going back to WWE the whole time?
I don't think so. I think she had an eye on wanting to be a part-timer. And in this day and age, with how many wrestlers there are in Stardom, and the number keeps expanding, it becomes a problem. And I think that's the main thing. Like, when it was only, you know, 25-ish wrestlers, okay. Now there's like 32 plus or people on retainer for stuff like New Blood, you know, the start or the sorry, people like Nanai, people like you. I think then people start having, you know, people like Ano. I think people start having questions like, is this necessary? Is she just ultimate luxury, and is luxury at the expense of like she's not doing jobs for people? And it's like, for me, you know, you're a pro wrestler, you're a WWE wrestler, you come into places, you're going to be able to not do jobs unless you want to specifically go do jobs. And it's pro wrestling. Why the fuck you want to do jobs? So it mostly came down to the booker.
To give back to the business.
Yeah. Yeah. How is Christian giving back to the business right now? He's one of the best things in AEW right now. He don't do jobs. That casket match, what happened?
Big job.
They put Swerve in the fucking thing to get put in that coffin. Oh, you meant the actual one with the Jungle Boy. Okay, yeah. I meant like the one most recently before he won the TNT title.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, like, it's amazing how that works, right? But yeah, like, she wasn't around enough to actually really, you know, have long feuds with people, and a lot of things that were a lot of people that I was most interested in, right? Like, it was, you know, basically one-on-one. Like, she had one match with Utami, one match with Kairi, one match with Tam, one match with Mayu, no match with Shuri. Got a trios match with Julia, where Julia's team were won. Julia beat the shit out of Kairi, and then Julia's team won. So yeah, like,
I heard like box office, it wasn't anything really like in 2023. Like, her name value
Well, yeah.
Stuff is kind of in the mud.
Which makes sense because the company is so much more popular than it was when she left in 2017. She's coming back. It's a whole new set of fans that don't know who she is. Mm-hmm. So she had to get over all over again. And she more or less did that. Did she get over to where like, oh yeah, put the belt on her or put the red or white belt on her and let her run through people like a hot knife through butter? No. But it was never going to be that because she's not doing road twos. She's not even doing every pay-per-view. There's pay-per-view every 2 fucking weeks. I think she may have done like 15 matches. Something like that. So yeah, over a span of a year, over a span of almost 2 years, something like that. Maybe she's wrestled maybe like once a month for Stardom or whatever else.
Like I don't know. I just feel like how tenable really. I don't think this is a major loss.
I feel like people should be disappointed for like, look, if there was opportunity to do more with her, to have her what do you call it? Establish roots with the actual like people on the roster, they're there every day or whatever else, really do it. Yeah, I just don't think that was ever a realistic opportunity. So maybe that's why my expectations are different. But I see other people were like, yeah, whatever. She's just another person they called in to hire a gun. It's like, yeah, that's kind of true.
Like she was like 4th from the top, 3rd from the top on like a lot of these like shows. So it was like, I think she was kind of unnecessarily like there at a certain point.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like some huge loss or anything. Like, we talked about it 2 months ago, and I'm just like, all right, I think it's just people, just kind of seeing her come in, and they wanted to have her help legitimize the people they watch now, mm-hmm. and they don't feel like they got that from her. So it's almost just like a, oh well, fuck you type thing.
Yeah, I that's definitely where it's coming from. I just, from my perspective, is just like, that was never going to be a thing because she wasn't doing road twos. She wasn't on every pay-per-view. So what were you going to have? What was she going to do? Like, would you have like to have lost 3 more times? Would that have made you feel better? I mean, I guess. Why not? But ex-WWE. They don't do jobs.
This is the business that you're in.
Yeah. And the one job she was going to do ended up going to a WWE wrestler because of the whole contract thing with Mayu. She was going to job to her at a historic crossover. They got outsourced to Mercedes, and Mercedes jobbed to Mayu. Like, so it's like even if she was going to do the one job anyway, you'd be like, oh, she jobbed to Mayu, the fucking icon. Like, you wouldn't have cared anyway. You'd be like, oh, she jobbed to her fucking friend.
It's okay. Saya Kamatani will get hers one day.
Or Julia.
One day.
Yeah. Those would be the two. Like, if I was, people talk about, all the wrestlers starting, like, those are the two I go after. Saya Kamatani, Julia, if I was WWE or AEW. Those would be the two. I mean, obviously, if I was AEW and I was more into it, I'd be like, yeah, Azumi, duh. But, whatever. Like, for what WWE wants, like, the height, the look, the gear, whatever else, those would be the two. I think Kamatani would be my number one pick because, like, Julia cannot do none of that shit she does in her matches, her top matches in WWE. Those women would not allow that shit. No, you're not. No, you're not shoot punching me in the neck. No, you're not dropping me on my neck in a Northern Lights bomb. No,
power drive me in the chairs.
Yeah. Like they'll do maybe they'll do the pile driver through the table, but they don't like pile drivers over there still. So, yeah, it's a lot of stuff they just be like, absolutely not. She cannot wrestle like that.
Y'all don't even look at Saya Kamatani. You hear me, Paul Levesque, Shawn Michaels, y'all don't even look in that direction. God damn it.
That's funny.
Don't play with me. But, yeah, we can wrap it up.
All right. That's the end of the show, y'all. Thanks for listening. I don't have the stream up right now, but I'm assuming Rich does not have our links to the Cash app or the PayPal on there. So I'm going to suggest that if you are listening from, or if you're watching from the stream, to go to. Oh, you have it on there.
No, I'm just pointing for emphasis.
Oh, okay. So if you are watching, go to our podcast. We have a link to our Red Circle. You can donate there. And be sure to listen to the other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style and All Things Elite. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.